COVID is one of the biggest challenges that we are facing right now. I mean, worldwide. You all have seen how horrifying it has been so far in the last 2 years. Now, right before COVID, there was one another issue that we had, which was taking almost all the platforms available, the social medias, on and offline medias, right? So, what am I talking about? It is the Farm Bill, the farmers' protest that was happening in Delhi. Hi all. In this video, we would be trying to understand the basics on Farm Bill, the changes that is happening, and who actually is doing the protest in Delhi. Welcome back. Let's grimble. The farmers' protests are happening mainly at Delhi and surrounding areas. If you have observed, you can see that you have almost all the people, all people from all around India is protesting there. But the majority of people are from Delhi, Haryana, and Punjab. Now, if you ask a common man about why this protest is happening, you might get an answer like they are protesting against the changes which are against the farmers, the anxiety and dissatisfaction that they have towards the changes that the central government has brought. Or you might also feel that the changes that the central government has brought is completely against the current structure and the farmers' goodwill. But if you keenly observe, you would actually see that the protest that is happening, the people who are doing this are not all farmers. Now we have middlemen and other people who are involved in this structure for ages are doing this protest big time. Let's understand this in detail. Let's understand what are the changes that we have here. Now, do you remember the changes that Narasimha Rao and Manmohan Singh had brought to the trade commerce sector? LPG was the short form of it. That is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Now, NDA government is claiming that they are also bringing the same kind of a change, which was much needed in the farm industry. Now, a local farmer is really worried that after when these changes are brought, the MSP, that is the minimum standard price, and other basic structure will be destroyed, and the private sector people would get the complete power. So far, we have Mandi system or APMC handling the produce in North India and in most part of the India. However, this is not that active in South, like Karnataka or in Tamil Nadu. So, APMC is an act that is enforced by the state government. And if you look at India-wide, pan-India, we have more than 29,000 of agriculture APMC or markets. Now, these are state government supported system, and we have commission agents or middlemen who are arranging these farm produce from farmers to the government, and state government is collecting levy and tax while they do this, and we have this then taken to the FCI, that is Food Corporation of India. Now, if you look at it, we have three people who are making money here. One is the farmer, who is the seller. Second is the middleman, and third is the state government. Now, state government is getting some tax. Farmer is getting the basic price. But a majority of the price is taken by the middleman. Now, as I said, in South India, we don't have these mandi systems that active, and people from South India may not be able to really understand why these protests are happening. People who haven't seen this. Now, mandi market system makes sure that the farmer is getting some money at the end of the day. The buyers who are buying from the same farmers for a real long time, the middlemen, are making sure that the end farmer is getting something. Now, these produces are perishable, so you cannot keep it for long. And you also have this issue where the demand is reducing and the supply is more, which happens often in India. Customers or the farmers would actually have issues in selling this. So, Mandi system will make sure that he is not going bankrupt in most cases. You would have also seen those videos and snaps where a lot of tomatoes and onions were dumped on the roadside. That is because the supply was in surplus and there was no one to buy. These were the situations that I'm talking about. Now, we have a couple of challenges in the farming sector. And the obvious one is that the system is very old. We haven't updated our system in decades. And because of that, the farming products, even though the other products, the other items across industries are getting expensive, the farming products are not really becoming any expensive at all. Now, the second one is the disguised unemployment. What do we mean by disguised unemployment? Is that normally a work which should ideally be done by 5 people are done by 50 to 60 people. Now, what is the result of it? There is a boom in production. Now, that itself is a curse that we are not able to find the right kind of market to sell it. India has undergone a green revolution thanks to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, Dr. Norman E. Borlaug, and Lal Bahadur Shastri. Now, during this period is when we have started using better seeds, tractors, irrigation facilities, better pesticides, and better fertilizers. Now, during the independence, we had around 40 crores of people in India, and the majority of the people were under poverty. The boom in the production has actually helped us feeding the alarmingly exploding population as well. Now, back then, during the independence, as per the economic finance experts, India was supposed to perish right after the independence because of the poverty and other issues that is supposed to come along with it. Now, what happens when you have an extra produce, an extra supply of things? In most cases, the demand reduces. And the question that arises is, where do we store all these? When we have things in abundance, we have to store it somewhere if we have to use it afterwards. So at this moment, do we have the right technologies and the warehouses to store food supplies? The answer is not sufficiently. Should we work towards it? Of course, yes. Now, the way we were handling farm sectors all this while was not the ideal way of doing things, and that is one of the reasons why we are in this current situation right now, where around 40%, 30 to 40% of our farm yields are going in vain. It's wasted. Let's see what are the things that the new farm bill contains. The first rule is the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Bill 2020. Now, there is a term called as arhitiyas. You might have heard this in newspapers and social medias. Now, these are the commission agents. They buy the produce from the farmers and sell it to the local government. Now, these are the people who run these mandis, the so-called mandis that we have in question right now. Now, after the change of this rule, we are actually worried that would these mandis be there? These people are really rich in Punjab and Haryana, and almost a good percentage of them are neo-rich. Now, this is not the same state when it comes to the other states in India, like Bihar, UP. On all these states, we actually have a semi-feudal system even now. With this bill, farmers will have the rights to decide when to sell, what to sell, who to sell, and how to sell. Now, this would actually not make everyone happy. The local mandis that he was trying to sell to or that he was selling to all these years, he can choose to sell to the same person, to the same place again. However, he would also have the freedom to sell it outside the mandis or outside the district or even outside the state and the country itself. Finding a buyer would be his responsibility. Now, would the farmers really need this? I mean, there's a lot of ambiguity around this since the protest is actually saying otherwise. At the same time, we have to understand that no one would really like to have a change, a system which has been running in a certain way for quite a long time. And if you suddenly bring a change to it, would you like it? I mean, it's going to have a lot of discomfort around it, right? And this would actually bring a lot of power to the to the person who's selling, to the farmer, and that would have a lot of questions arising around it. How would he be able to find the right seller and all those things, right seller and right buyer and all those things? As a farmer, you might be thinking, what if these middlemen disappear? Eventually, this is what the government is trying to bring, that getting the power to the farmers' hands, and slowly the middlemen should fade out. And in that way, farmers will be benefited, and the customers, the local customers also will be benefited, because the price that they are paying extra to the middlemen would be reduced. Now, if you see in a local mandi in Haryana or Punjab, you would see that there's a lot of cess and taxes that actually goes to the government. If you go to Punjab alone, if you go to the records, you will actually see that per year it's around 5,000 crores. Now, would the government want to lose 5,000 crores per year just because of a change in a local rule or a bill? Now, you will really understand where the protest is coming from. Now, these middlemen, they are actually playing a financial person's role as well. Now, they would lend money to these farmers in multiple occasions, in multiple terms, so that farmer can find the right kind of seeds, and he is getting the right kind of supplies so that he can produce, in abundance. Now, this is actually a debt trap, because if you take money from a person, from an organization for a long time, you would be more servile to them. And there is this debt trap. So if you see a lot of farmers doing these protests on the roads, you have to understand that not everyone is there on the road by their own will. Now, with this new rule, you don't really have to pay a price if you are a farmer as a tax or as a levy. If you are not planning to sell it in the mandi, even if you are planning to sell it within the district or outside the district or even outside the state, when you are selling, you don't really have to pay a tax. Now, is that a loss to the government as a whole? It is. But as a farmer, you would be benefited. Again, finding the right kind of buyer would be your responsibility. Now, is the MSP is going to disappear? Not really. MSP is still going to be there. Now, is APMCs being demolished? No. Do you think that the mandi market will not be there anymore? Even the answer is no. Mandi market would still be there, and all the farmers who want to sell it over the mandi market can still go and do that. The next part of this new bill is called as the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act 2020. Now, what does this mean? This means that the farmer can decide his producer's price. Now, and even the playing level. That means he can bargain. In many cases, he can sell the produce while he is still plowing the ground. Now, the price may go up or down during the span of those 6 months or 1 year by the time the produce is ready. The farmer can still decide whether he wants to sell the produce to the same person or at the same price, or he doesn't want to sell it at all, or he wants to sell it outside his place, outside his district or his state. If the price is going high, the customer or the farmer would still get his benefit. That is the extra price that the producer has gained over the period of time. He is still liable to get it. What if the price goes down? In that case, the farmer would be getting the price that was offered at the time of preparing the ground. Now, this should ideally be a real benefit, real boon to this farming industry. There are norms to set up farmer produce organizations as well. Now, what will this do? This will actually train the farmers on how to go about in bargaining, how to set up an online platform to sell his produce. And it will also train on the new seeds and the kind of changes that he needs to make in his farming so that he can get better produce. Now, this team will also take care of the local issues that the farmers may run into, or other legal issues that he might have with small organizations from where he has taken money or from whom he had actually done some agreements before the produce was in place. Essential Commodities Act. Now, Essential Commodities Act was brought by the Indian government to make sure that the black markets doesn't exist. Now, since these items are essential commodities, food and fruits and pulses, we have a chance of a lot of black market issues that may arise whenever there is a shortage arises. So since these items will not be inside the essential act, it will make sure that you cannot stock this for long and get the benefit out of a black market. As per Shantakumar committee, most of the farmers who are doing this farming and who are doing this protest are not really benefited out of MSP. So from this, all pulses and oilseed farmers, around 15 to 25% are the people who are really aware of what the MSP of their produce and they are getting it. Rest all have no clue what MSP is, but you still see an uprise and uproar about the MSP in the protest. How is this going to be executed? Now that is the only thing that we should be really worried about. Now, this is a golden chance. In fact, this is the one chance that all the farmers has at this moment. Government would not be really keen on keeping this particular rule, since these protesters or these protests eventually would tarnish the government's people acceptance, and that would lead them, or that will force them to pull this back. Remember, it is not who is doing that matters. It is what is done. That's all that matters. Now, with this majority, if this government is not able to do it, believe me, no other government would want to pick up this topic again to help farmers. This is going to be very difficult. Let's unite. Let's unite for the farmers. Not for anyone else, for you and me. Because when a change is happening to the farmers, when the farmers are benefited, the price will go down. The price that you're paying extra to the mandis, extra to the commission agents, is going to be in your bank accounts. It's going to be in farmers' bank accounts. And you are helping India. You are helping farmers for a better tomorrow. And what if things doesn't go as planned? We still have democracy in our hands. If things doesn't change, we change the people who actually are trying to make these changes. And democracy will win, India will win. Thank you so much for joining, and we will soon meet with another video, with another topic. I hope you guys are staying safe.